to talk about my change is that I'm using letters as opposed to human shapes. The important thing about this one is not just that it's my initials, Richard Crispo, but that it works like there's a human form within the letters. And looking at the letters and seeing them as ends in themselves, not just as letters, but as active shapes. Let's look at the R, what the R does. The R has points and rounds and all these part of the shapes, and is the kind of thing that we can find in the alphabet, but not quite the same way as I'm doing it right here. The bottom, the very pointed bottoms of the legs and where the feet are, is a very important part of this because it really changes the R in the overall shape. In the Crispo and the C is very rounded, very a sense of the roundness of the letter C, but also that it has a world of its own, and like it sits in a little cup, inside a cup, could be me, could be anybody. Doing these letters gave me a chance to do something different and move off where I was in the conversations. These also can be conversations within the letters, but it really mostly is a way to look at letters differently. I don't want to make the letters just a thing of their own, but I want them to be unique to the letter that it represents. In this particular one, with my initials. I'm looking at this boo. I came up with this on the back of my brother's Christmas card, and I decided to keep it, make a big, but not with quotations. Quotations would be too thought of with it. And I want it just to be the letters by itself saying boo, but not making it a quotation with marks around it. So let's look at the letters. Each one has a different personality, a different way of seeing, and not necessarily talking to each other like in the other previous letters. I'm looking at this always in terms of the individual shapes. In other words, the B is a B. It's not the B part of an O, part of another O, but to be part of boo. Boo being the symbol for a lot of things for people that get scared or can't deal with things or want something that is a talk amongst itself. So in a sense, boo is a conversation amongst itself. I could see these in the book, but I can also see these by themselves. And it's important for me to see them by themselves and see them as part of the book. Color-wise, they're part of the book. Design-wise, they could be in the book. But the real important thing is boo. That means, it could mean nothing. Could mean something. Could mean more than it looks like. And I like keeping it simple and direct. Let's look at the simple and directness of this. Two circular O's and the B being much more humanized, much more a profile. A profile, some would say a profile in a particular, perhaps Afro-American style, perhaps something dealing with just the beginnings of B. It's important for me to see it and the B as part of an important cultural symbol and cultural profile. I'm very happy with all three, and so all three seem to bring me a certain piece of a completion of an idea, the idea of boo. The last of the conversations pieces where the big shape is one mask and the conversations are inside the mask and outside the mask on the shoulders. To look at this piece is to look at much more complicated than the idea of just having something to look at. This is really talking about also the pain in the mask, and what is the pain, and what is the part that is talking to the viewer. Talking to the viewer is a very important part of these. But when we take them, going back to the original ones, I find myself changing things, adding things, or moving things around. So it's an important part of the process, but the most important part for me is that I have the ability to make change within that particular larger shape. So let's look at the larger shape with the complications inside and the one of the yellow ear on the left side. The left ear, that yellow, is the same yellow that's on the right side, and it makes a balancing act in the piece, and it also is connected with the eyebrow on the left. I may go back to the max. I may go back, but I cannot not go back to where I was after starting the alphabets. So the alphabet will be part of a bigger picture. Let's think about the alphabet and conversations. Is the conversation possible without the alphabet? I don't know. All I know is that I had fun doing the alphabet too, that I did. And letting this be what it is, part of the other story, part of the other conversation. Let's also look at the whole group of paintings that are part of the book on conversation and other matters. That it's the free-form feeling about it is a very important part of the design, and to keep it flowing, moving, being, and always alive. They must be alive. They can't be a dead shape.